What's up? I just about ate it on those walnuts. I'm not gonna lie. What's going on, guys? I've been meaning to make this. I feel like I say this a lot, but I've been meaning to make this video for like 4 months. But this is basically my daily driver. This is how I get to and from work. So technically the title isn't clickbait, technically, but you may think it is. This is my new EDC, sort of. Everyday car, everyday, I don't know, commuter, everyday bike, I don't know, whatever. This is it. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this thing, my thoughts on it, and all the gear that I have on it, because much like I did a everyday carry for my truck, I have this thing kind of kitted out, and it's kind of cool. So with that said, let's do the damn thing. This is a Super73 S2. I picked this one because basically the style. There's a ton of e-bikes, and this one I think looks the coolest, at least within the price range I was working within. This is originally about 2,700 bucks. Super73 did give me a pretty fair discount, like $600 off. No sponsors, no strings, just whatever. They wanted me to have one and gave me a little bit of a discount, and I'm happy I bought it. However, if I could do it again, I probably would have gotten the upgraded model above this one, but it's the Super73 RX. It looks more like a dirt bike, and it has rear suspension. This is a hard tell, so you feel every single bump. It does have front shocks, but nothing in the back, and it's been hell on my butt and my spine, but this thing's sick. It looks kind of like a cafe racer, and I've been outfitting it for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 months with all sorts of gear. I got it mainly for just a more efficient way to get around town than driving my truck all the time, and it's fun. It's fun as hell. I originally started with a boosted. I got a boosted board thinking I was gonna ride it from my house to my office. It was like 3 miles. No, I did that trek one time, and I couldn't feel my feet when I got there. So never again. This, on the other hand, I think is a much more viable commuter, and it's fun. It's got a range of like 70-ish miles, that's what they say. But if you use throttle or the pedal assist on the higher modes, you're only gonna get about 30, 40 miles. So that's still plenty. I think I do like a 10-mile loop between my house and the office and the coffee shop every day. And so far I've put just under 400 miles on it. I have 398 miles on it now. And I think it's great, but there are a lot of cons that come along with a bike like this. The price is kind of high, steep barrier to entry. There are cheaper e-bikes. This one is not one of the cheaper ones. And it's also not one of the most expensive. They get up to like $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 for some of them, which is absurd. The other thing is carrying stuff back and forth. I mean, I've got bags and stuff attached to this, but that's pretty limited storage. So I basically have to put anything I want to bring with me on my back, which adds to the weight and all those bumps with no suspension. You just feel it on your shoulders. So not exactly ideal if you're going to be carrying a lot of stuff back and forth. Speaking of the suspension and it being kind of hell on your back, the seat is also not very comfortable. I love the look of it. It is not comfortable, but there are aftermarket seats that I will probably upgrade to at some point. This thing looks comfy. It's squishy, but without that suspension on the back, this thing hurts. The first probably week that I rode it, I had bruises on the insides of my thighs. So not exactly comfortable, but the only real complaint I have, like I can get past that, I can swap the seat. The only real complaint I have is the power, and it's really more of a limitation of the law than it is of the bike. They're building these things to be within certain laws and make them legal as, you know, commuter options that you don't have to tag or have a license for. You can just ride this thing on the road. Check your state laws, or your local municipality laws and stuff. But here in Concord in North Carolina, this thing is street legal. I can just ride it. And if it were more powerful, I would probably have to register it and get a motorcycle license. But the way it is, I don't have to. The downside to that is there's not a lot of power or torque. So if you need to get out of the way, if something's happening, somebody slams on their brakes or cuts you off or whatever, you don't have a whole lot of torque to move fast. That's really the only reason I would want more power in this, not top speed. The 32-ish miles per hour that I ride from my house to my office on, that's fine. That's plenty of speed, but I just need more get up and go. A little more oomph. That and the range. Those are really the two complaints. 40 miles seems like a lot, but really when it says, I think it says 36 on a full charge, it says I can get 36 miles based on the way that I normally ride it. 36 sounds like a lot, but really when you get under like 16 miles left in your range, the pedal assist and the actual motor, because of the battery depleting, are not nearly as powerful. So I want to talk you through all of the things that I have on the bike that I've added, and also some of the things that I think I should add, things that are on the list that for one reason or another I haven't gotten yet. Let's talk about my bike EDC. So first up, we have the helmet. There's not a whole lot of documentation on helmets for e-bikes. Most of the lists include something similar to this or full face helmet with a DOT standards. There's no real solid answer on what you should wear riding an e-bike. They're kind of a new thing. They exist in a gray area, and the helmets, there's nothing specifically really made for e-bikes. I think there's a couple, but they're like $300 and they have screens on them. They're weird. I didn't want that. I wanted something simple. So I went with this, and in my research, I read that the most important feature that you really should be focused on is MIPS. This is technically a mountain biking helmet, but I think any helmet's better than nothing. This is the one I got, and I got it because it kind of matched the bike. Sorry, not sorry. Something I should have changed way early on, way sooner than I did, are the grips. The grips that come on Super 73s aren't particularly great. They're very firm and they're not nice. So I swapped for these BW grips. They're orange. I thought they were brown. They're not. They're orange. Surprise, surprise. But I kept them anyway because it looks pretty good. Doesn't really match the seat like the brown did. But I got them. They're super, super grippy and very comfortable. Should have done that a long time ago. And then I got these. These are cycle wing lights, just a little turn signal for the end of your handlebars. They're okay, but you do have to take your hand off the handlebar to activate it, and they're basically useless during the day. So they're mainly for night, but having a little bit of a signal is better than nothing. Moving down, obviously I have this phone mount right here in the center. This comes from Quadlock, who is actually the sponsor of today's video. Through Kickstarter, Chris Peters and Rob Ward revolutionized smartphone mounting back in 2012 and have only pushed the envelope ever since, expanding from a simple bike mount to include a wide range of activities like motorcycles, cars, photography, golf, boats, and more. I've been using the Quadlock case on my iPhone for a little over a month now, and I love how adaptable it is. There's what's called the Quad Ring, which doubles as a loop for your finger or a hands-free phone stand. And since you'll have to remove it to use the other Quadlock accessories, it comes with a tiny carabiner for safe storage. The real killer feature that sold me on Quadlock is the motorcycle kit. Not only is it extremely secure, it's also very quick and easy to attach your phone to your bike or motorcycle. There are several mount options available, including a handlebar mount, as seen here, a fork stem mount, or a mirror mount, and a host of accessories to go with it. You can also swap the lever head design for a weatherproof wireless charging head like I did, so you can always be charging on a ride. And for motorcyclists, Quadlock also offers a vibration dampener that will save your phone's camera stabilization from high-frequency vibrations. To see everything Quadlock has to offer and upgrade to the most adaptable and convenient phone case and mount solution possible, hit the link in the description down below, and for first-time buyers, there will be a coupon code on the site when you visit. And once again, I want to thank Quadlock for sponsoring this video. And then here, I just used a little Velcro strap to add a carabiner to the handlebars, and what I mainly use that for is when I'm wearing the helmet. I clip my hat there. Sometimes I'll clip a water bottle there, but it's just to hang a couple lightweight things while I'm riding. So that's everything handlebars up. Everything within the frame is really contained to this MOLLE panel. This comes from Raid Dynamics, and it's the RCP or rigid carrier panel. It's a MOLLE compatible, I think it's some sort of polycarbonate. It's plastic. I thought it was metal. It's not. I should have read more, and I also should have read a little more because this is the small version of the panel. They have a medium that comes up straight, and then they have a large that actually comes up over the fender and back this way. That's what I meant to buy. I meant to buy the large. I got the small. I think it's okay. I don't necessarily need much more on here, but then I have attached, since it is MOLLE compatible, a couple of bags. This is the nutsack admin pouch, which I don't really have anything specific for this pouch. It's really just stuff, extra stuff thrown in here. It's a spare bag that I can throw extra things into, like some video equipment. I have a little magic arm clamp. This is the other piece to the phone mount. So just some spare parts in here, but I don't really have a specific purpose for this bag. But this one I do have a purpose for. This comes from Step 22. It's the Tin Kyle Tech Pouch. I posted a picture of this in my truck several months ago, and that's where I did have it, but I ended up never really using it there. So I moved it here, and the reason for it is because it actually has this almost like a shelf or drawer function. So when you unzip it, it kind of flays open, and you have a little area where you can work from. If you're taking parts off or screws or whatever, they'll sit in this little area. And you do have an external pouch, which I don't have anything in there. I mainly use this for holding my charger because sometimes I forget to charge it, and it's nice to be able to charge it when I stop somewhere. The rest of this stuff is all tools. So other than a garage door opener and keys, I have a Xiaomi precision driver set just for, you know, screwing things, and a pack of zip ties. It's really just for anything that might go wrong. I've got a few pins and Sharpies in here, so right in the rain pin, a couple of Sharpies, flashlight, because I think that's an essential that should go in here at all times. This is a Olight S2R Baton 2 in the Stormtrooper colorway. You guys know I love my Pokemon. Then we have a Leatherman Free P2, just to have just any kind of multi-tool. That's another thing that's super handy to have. And then a Big Idea Design TI EDC wrench, mainly because I've had some pliers in here. I had some Nipix pliers in here, and I just couldn't get to a lot of the bolts. So I swapped for this wrench. And then the main thing that's in here, the killer tool that's in here, is the Crank Brothers 19-in-1 bike multi-tool. It's specifically made for working on bikes. M19 is the model number. This thing's great. I think that's it. Some lip balm down in there. That's all for that. And I just really like having all of this stuff in one big pouch. It does kind of stick out a little far. It's past the crank, but it's nice to have all that stuff. I was afraid that I wouldn't have enough room for the charger, because this morning I didn't, but I moved some stuff around, and now I have room for the charger. Throwing some sunglasses on there just for easy storage. Let's turn this thing around. And on the flip side, we've got just a couple more Molly pouches. These came from Academy. Don't know the brand. They were $5, but I couldn't turn around for that. And I have a CD lock. So CD lock, just in case I stop anywhere, I have to go inside, I can lock the bike up. Although people could just steal all the rest of the shit. In this bottom one, this one is gonna be mainly for repairs and like spare parts and stuff. Right now it's just got some chain lube in it, but I'll probably throw some slime in here, a spare tube, and a small little pump. They have these, actually I think Xiaomi, the same company that makes the precision driver kit, they have a small electric air pump that I think would fit in that pouch, that I can, you know, if I have to repair a tire, I can at least inflate it on the go, which would be really nice. This pouch is a little harder to get to, but I think that's okay because it's one that I shouldn't have to get to very often. And I hope I don't have to, because it would mean I'm having to repair a tire. The pouch up here is more tech pouch. I know the other one's called a tech pouch, but this one I have all the tech in. So I have a spare battery, which runs the wireless charger. And then I have just some cords in case I need to charge a phone or the flashlight or anything like that. I have some headphones down in here. Sometimes I like to listen to music while I'm riding, and this is just for the video today. It's SD card holder. I think this is the very last thing. This is a Blackburn Outpost bottle holder. It holds, I wanted something big enough to hold this giant blender bottle. This is a 45-ounce blender bottle, so I wanted something that would hold that, or like a Nalgene, and this thing works flawlessly. So that is my EDC on the bike. The things that I would like to add, I think I already mentioned all of them. Spare tube, some slime, and a little air pump, electric air pump. And I think that's it for the most part. There are some really cool mods that I've seen some people do. Definitely want to swap out the seat, but I've seen people swap out this headlight. This headlight kind of sucks, if I'm going to be honest. It's a flat beam on the top, and then you have a rounded beam on the bottom, and it's just not, it doesn't work as well as I'd like it to. So I've seen people swap these out for LED lights on a motorcycle, and that's really cool, but you have to run it off an external battery. So I'd have to configure things a little differently, but I think for the most part, this is how I'm gonna ride this bike. I've been riding it this way for months. Frankly, I love it, and I think even through most of the winter, I'll probably keep riding it, as long as it doesn't get too terribly cold in the mornings. Anyway, that's it. That's my new EDC, I guess, everyday commuter, whatever we're gonna call it. Super 73, it's a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoy it. If you are interested in checking one of these out, there will be a link down below. But that's it for now. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, carry on.